Firstly, I cannot imagine the grief of her family and what they will be experiencing and feeling right now. And my thoughts and prayers are with her father, David, who is in the country, her mother, Gillian, who cannot be here, and her wider family, friends, and loved ones. So, on behalf of New Zealand, I want to apologise to Grace's family. Your daughter should have been safe here, and she wasn't, and I'm sorry for that.
Grace Millane embarked on the adventure of a lifetime. Originally from Essex in the UK, this young student travelled to New Zealand, on the cusp of celebrating her birthday, embarking on a journey that held the promise of new experiences. She was just a few days shy of turning 22, savouring a holiday filled with dreams, smiles, and the anticipation of uncharted adventures. However, one fateful night, the world collectively held its breath as Grace mysteriously disappeared, leaving behind a haunting enigma. Grace Millane's narrative transcends geographical boundaries, uniting people worldwide in their quest for answers and a collective aspiration for a safer future. Join us in this exploration of a young traveler's odyssey, her sudden disappearance, and the lasting legacy that is Grace Millane. Welcome to Insight Wave, the channel dedicated to investigating both solved and unsolved cases from around the world. If you haven't already, please take a moment to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest crime stories delivered directly to your inbox. Grace Emmy Rose Millane was born in 1996 in Essex, United Kingdom. She hailed from a loving and tight-knit family, with her parents, David and Gillian Millane, and two other siblings, Michael and Declan. Grace was known for her outgoing, caring, and vibrant personality. She had a wide circle of friends who cherished her for her warm and friendly nature. What's more, she displayed her kindness by donating her long hair to the Little Princess Trust, which transforms hair into wigs for children battling cancer, reflecting the compassionate person she was. Her passion for creativity led her to hobbies like painting, where she could express herself through art. After her recent graduation from the University of Lincoln in the UK, where she had majored in advertising and marketing, Grace was poised to embark on a new chapter in her life. Her travels were part of her post-graduation plans to explore the world and immerse herself in different cultures before transitioning into the next phase of her life. In October 2018, Grace left her family home and commenced her journey. Her adventure began in Peru, where she spent 6 weeks exploring South America. Along the way, she crossed paths with fellow travelers, enthusiastically sharing her experiences with loved ones back home. She documented her journey with regular Instagram posts, showcasing her travels and the friendships she cultivated along the way. In November of that same year, Grace embarked on a solo trip to New Zealand. She traveled throughout the country, arriving in Auckland about 11 days later. Auckland, known as the City of Sails, is New Zealand's largest city, graced with a stunning waterfront, a striking skyline, and more beaches than many coastal resorts. Grace checked into the Base Backpackers Hostel on Queen Street in Auckland city centre, where she shared a room with fellow travelers. On the evening of Saturday, December 1st, Grace left the hostel just before 6 p.m. and ventured out, dressed in a knee-length black dress, white shoes, and carrying a small purse. She had arranged to meet someone she had matched with on Tinder. Initially, Grace had reservations about the meetup, but after further communication, she and her date decided to meet for drinks in the evening. They made plans to meet up at Sky City, which is a big entertainment complex with lots of bars, restaurants and a casino. CCTV from the night shows them touring several bars and drinking cocktails. During the date, Grace kept her friend Amina updated, stating, I click with him so well. He is an oil manager and lives in a hotel. I will let you know what happens tomorrow. From all indications, it seemed like the evening was progressing smoothly. Approximately 1 hour later, they decided to visit a place known as the Blue Stone Room. At one juncture, Grace temporarily left their table, and CCTV footage shows her date picking up her bag and rifling through it. Notably, he did not appear to remove anything from the bag, and upon Grace's return, she did not seem to notice that her bag had been disturbed. Shortly after 9:30 p.m., Grace and her date were observed leaving the bar and walking down the street. Subsequently, they were once again captured by the hotel's CCTV cameras. Sunday, November 2nd marked Grace's 22nd birthday, the day after her date. Her friends and family in the UK sent her messages and congratulations over social media. However, to everyone's surprise, Grace was uncharacteristically unresponsive, and her 2 phones went straight to voicemail. Until that day, she had inundated everyone with numerous photos and messages, both on social media and through text. Yet, on her birthday, she remained eerily silent. This sudden change raised significant concern among her family, and they became instantly worried. On December 5th, her parents contacted the Auckland police to report her missing. The police got in touch with the hostel where she had been staying, and it was confirmed that Grace hadn't been seen since the night of December 1st. Initially, this didn't raise any red flags for the police, and they didn't suspect foul play. Most of her belongings were still at the hostel, leading them to believe that she might have chosen to stay with new acquaintances, lost track of time, and simply failed to check in with anyone. Fortunately for the police, tracing Grace's movements was relatively straightforward due to the extensive CCTV coverage in Auckland. They quickly located the man she had gone on a date with, who had also commented on one of her Facebook pictures on the night of her disappearance, saying, "Beautiful, very radiant." This individual was the same person Grace had matched with on Tinder and met on the night she vanished. His name was Jesse Kempson. Jesse, aged 26, was born in Wellington, New Zealand, but experienced frequent relocations during his youth due to his parents' separation. As a result, he became estranged from most of his family and was primarily raised by his grandparents. To those who were part of his life, Jesse had a reputation as a pathological liar. He was notorious for fabricating elaborate tales, such as claiming he had a terminal illness like cancer or falsely asserting connections to some of New Zealand's most popular rugby players. He would readily spin these tales for almost anyone he encountered, be it family, friends, employers, or even landlords. On the day Jesse met Grace, he had once again been terminated from his job as a phone salesperson due to the consequences of his lies catching up with him. CCTV footage revealed to the police that Jesse was the last person seen with Grace before her disappearance. Consequently, on the same day her concerned family reported her missing, the police reached out to Jesse, requesting him to come to the police station to assist in piecing together what had transpired with Grace. Jesse complied with the request.
Tell us about Grace.
So I was talking to Grace on Tinder.
Yeah.
We'd matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched the next day on Saturday. And then we met at Sky City, and then we decided that we were going up to Andy's Burger Bar, which is on the first floor.
Whose idea was it to go to that particular burger place?
Me, because I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of... So have you heard of catfish?
No.
So catfishing is where someone uses your profile, or uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets, and you're a completely different person.
How does meeting in a public place sort of protect you from meeting someone who's not as good looking as...
Well, there's security there. So if she wasn't who she said she was,
Yeah.
At least in my mind, I'd feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's us.
Down there?
Yep. So she's going that way, and I'm going across the street. I go down Queen Street. No, I go down Victoria Street, straight down to the bottom, and then hang a left, and I head towards the viaduct.
You've kind of walked in a bit of a funny direction if you were planning to go to the viaduct. Is there a particular reason you were going to do that?
I feel safer down that way.
And we're very, very concerned for her safety, obviously.
Yep.
It's entirely possible that she's been the victim of foul play.
Okay.
You understand what that means?
Yeah.
What would your feelings be about providing us with a voluntary DNA sample in the event that we can compare that against something? Would you be happy with
Yeah,
that?
100%. I mean, I know I haven't done anything wrong, so I'm happy to do it.
Okay. At this stage, we don't know what's happened to this girl.
Okay.
It's possible that somebody has killed her. Okay.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yeah.
She might, when I say foul play, I mean that someone might have murdered her. Don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well.
Okay.
But she might also be dead.
Okay.
Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Am I being arrested for something I didn't do?
You haven't been arrested, mate.
I was like, holy shit.
During the interview, Jesse asserted that their date had been normal, with no unusual occurrences. He claimed that they had made plans to meet again the following day, sharing a kiss before parting ways around 10 p.m. Jesse also stated that he attempted to message Grace on Tinder the next day but noticed that she had unmatched him, which he believed had concluded their contact. Meanwhile, the Auckland police diligently examined the extensive CCTV footage available at Sky City, where they had their date, as well as the footage from the City Live Hotel, where Jesse was staying. Hours upon hours of footage were meticulously reviewed and analyzed in their quest to piece together the events of Grace's night. Jesse's assertion that he and Grace had parted ways around 10 p.m. was quickly cast into doubt when police discovered CCTV footage of them together in the hotel's elevator just before 10 p.m., heading up to Jesse's hotel room level. The police continued reviewing the footage to determine what time she had left, but Grace did not reappear on the cameras. The following morning, cameras captured Jesse leaving the hotel. The police tracked his movements, and he was seen shopping to purchase a large suitcase. Subsequently, he bought cleaning supplies at a supermarket, and around noon, he took a taxi to a rental company to pick up a car. On the same day, Jesse met another girl he had connected with on Tinder. She later reported to the police that their conversation had taken a disturbing turn, including discussions about burying bodies. Feeling uneasy, she declined his offer to get in his car and opted to find her own way home. She unmatched him on Tinder and chose not to communicate with him further. Jesse's day continued with a trip to the city center, where he rented a carpet cleaning machine. When questioned by staff about the rental, he claimed he had spilled some red wine and needed to clean it up. Later that evening, around 9:30, Jesse was captured on camera with 2 suitcases on a trolley. He was seen unloading these items into his rental car before leaving the hotel and driving away. Around 7 a.m. the following day, he appeared on CCTV again, this time purchasing a shovel. 2 hours later, he drove to a car wash, where he spent time thoroughly cleaning his rental car. After this, he returned the car, which was subsequently rented by someone else. On the 5th of December, Jesse's suspicious activities continued. Throughout the day, he was observed disposing of various items in bins. When the police arrived at the hotel front desk to speak with him, Jesse coincidentally returned to the hotel. However, the moment he spotted the police, he abruptly halted and attempted to walk away. The police immediately recognized his evasive behavior and pursued him, detaining him for questioning. A comprehensive search of his hotel room was subsequently conducted by the police. A couple of days later, the police took Jesse into custody for a second interview. During this second interview, his story underwent a dramatic and significant change.
Indicated that you're willing to speak to us about the events of last Saturday. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me what happened last Saturday.
She started talking to me about 50 Shades of Grey. We started having sex. At first it was just normal. And then she asked me if we could get into bondage, having, I guess, more violent sex. We ended up on the floor, and then she told me to hold her throat. So I went into the shower, and then all I remember is falling asleep in the shower. I need to stop. I need to go.
He asserted that when he woke up the next morning, he discovered that Grace had passed away. He explained that he panicked and was uncertain about how to handle the situation. Consequently, he purchased suitcases, placed her body inside, and drove to an undisclosed location to bury her. While he was sharing this new account of events, he continued to deny any culpability.
I didn't know what to do. I went downstairs and I was just, I don't know, I was all over the place.
You come out of the shower.
Yep.
The light's been on in the shower.
Yep.
You've put a towel around you.
Yep.
You've turned the light off, and
Yep.
then you've returned to your bed and you've gone to sleep in your bed.
Yep.
And at that point, when you exit the shower, you don't look around, but your assumption from the silence.
I thought that she had gone. I thought she had left.
We're going to head out of here very, very soon, and you're going to take us to where you've buried her.
Yeah.
She will likely be exhumed tomorrow.
Okay.
At some point, and after that, a pathologist, a specialist doctor, will perform a post-mortem.
Yeah.
They're very skilled at establishing people's causes of death. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Did you kill Grace Millane? Okay. Jesse Kempson, you're under arrest for the murder of Grace Millane.
The forensic team that meticulously searched Jesse's hotel room discovered several incriminating pieces of evidence pointing to his involvement in Grace's disappearance. Surprisingly, even though he had rented a carpet cleaner, the floor of his hotel room was still stained with Grace's blood. Assisting the police in their investigation, Jesse's guidance led them swiftly to Grace's body, which was found a mere 10 yards from a road. Throughout New Zealand, a wave of grief and sorrow swept the nation for a young woman who had been tragically taken. Many felt a profound sense of guilt and responsibility that a young girl traveling to their homeland had not been safe on their streets. The Prime Minister at the time, Jacinda Ardern, held a press conference and extended her apologies to Grace's family, acknowledging the collective sorrow and concern that had gripped the country.
Firstly, I cannot imagine the grief of her family and what they will be experiencing and feeling right now. And my thoughts and prayers are with her father, David, who is in the country, her mother, Gillian, who cannot be here, and her wider family, friends, and loved ones. You know, from the Kiwis I have spoken to, there is this overwhelming sense of hurt and shame that this has happened in our country, a place that prides itself on our hospitality, on our manaakitanga, especially to those who are visiting our shores. And so, on behalf of New Zealand, I want to apologise to Grace's family. Your daughter should have been safe here, and she wasn't, and I'm sorry for that. I've advised the family through the police that if there is anything we can do to assist, we are here to help with that.
Just 10 days after Grace went missing, Jessie appeared in a court in Auckland. The judge issued a name suppression order in the media to ensure Jessie had a better chance at a fair trial. This is also why much of the available media footage of him has been blurred. On November 4, 2019, the trial commenced and Jessie entered a plea of not guilty. The media closely followed the trial, focusing on the defense's efforts to construct an alternative narrative that could cast doubt on Grace Millane's character. They contended that their client had not intended to kill Millane. Instead, they argued that he had merely followed her instructions and that she had initiated violent sexual activities, citing her interest in 50 Shades of Grey and past experiences with a former partner. Subsequently, media coverage of Millane's murder trial almost exclusively fixated on the details of her sexual preferences, her prior relationships, and her alleged inclination toward BDSM. Headlines featured interviews with Millane's friends and ex-boyfriends who had been questioned by the defense. Articles were preoccupied with her kinky interests, previous partners, and portrayed her as a naive and trusting individual. Jessie claimed that Grace had tragically died due to a sexual mishap, and he panicked, attempting to conceal the body after accidentally causing her death. However, this assertion was vehemently contested by the prosecution, which argued that Jessie had concocted elaborate lies and attempted to cover his tracks on multiple occasions. It took the jury just 5 hours to deliberate, and they found Jessie guilty. He was subsequently sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years.
You'll have to forgive me because I'm not very good at this. The verdict of murder today will be welcomed by every member of the Millane family and friends of Grace. It will not reduce the pain, the suffering that we've had to endure for over the past year. Grace was taken away from us in the most brutal fashion a year ago, and our lives have been, and family have been ripped apart. This will be with us for the rest of our lives. Grace was a beautiful, talented, loving daughter. Grace was our sunshine, and she will be missed forever. She did not deserve to be murdered in such a barbaric way on her OE year. We would like to thank several people. Auckland Police Force, been professional, diligent and thorough all through this investigation. A special thank you to Detective Inspector Scott Beard, Detective Senior Sergeant Greg Brand and Detective Tony Jordan. We would like to thank the Crown Prosecution team, Brian, Robin and Lita. They never flinched away from the more intimate details of the case and were compassionate and thoughtful where the family matters arose. The press contingent, you lot, who have attended court every day with my wife and I and reported truthfully, respectfully, all events as they unfolded. Last but not least, we would love to thank the people of New Zealand. They've opened their hearts to Grace and her family. I cannot express our gratitude enough for all the offers and gifts of kindness that we have received over the last year. Finally, we must return home and try and pick up the pieces of our lives and day to day with our beloved Grace. Thank you all.